Hello there. My name is Matt, and I like comics. You have tuned in to my first ever episode of my channel, which I've also named Matt Likes Comics. On this channel, we are going to enjoy comics. We are not necessarily going to talk about comics as investment vehicles, nor are we going to talk about comics that everybody else talks about online. I like the interesting. I like the fun. And quite simply, I love the stories behind the comics. So, here on this channel, we're going to take comics such as this, Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane 108, which is a story that Jack the Ripper manages to get Lois Lane to come back in time so he can try and kill her. Interesting and unusual? I think so. We also have books like this Golden Age one called Teenage Temptations. This is issue 5. It's a Matt Baker cover, and Matt Baker did a lot of the interior. And if you're familiar with Golden Age, everyone knows that Matt Baker is considered one of the best artists for good girl art of all time. Sometimes we will take, sometimes I'm going to just show comic books and that I get at various shows or out of my boxes. I'm going to have my son at times pick out random books and we're just going to talk about those. Or sometimes I'm going to take a run of comics and we will discuss that run. For example, a character run, or a character run, or other things that are interesting about the series. I also plan on, I plan on pulling out my favorite characters, such as Conan. This is the most recent Savage Sword, the Savage Sword of Conan #1. The magazine is back by Titan Comics. And I'm very, very pleased with this. This has got a lot of good stories in it. If you haven't read it, you should. For example, some days we'll have discussions. I'll bring in guests and we'll talk about things such as the Freedom Fighters. This is Freedom Fighters #1 from the 1970s. For example, who's in the Freedom Fighters? Why are they in the Freedom Fighters? What was the origins of the Freedom Fighters? Who's your favorite Freedom Fighter? And so on. For example, everybody knows, and we'll use one example off here, Uncle Sam here. Uncle Sam originally started in Quality Comics. He's been around since the 1940s and is considered the personification of America itself and its fighting spirit. And therefore, we move on from such. We'll also talk about what ifs, such as this book, which is the what if Jason Todd had lived. Most comic fans are aware that Jason Todd died in Batman 4/28 back in 1989. I was one of those people that voted in that 900 number they did, and I voted to kill him because I didn't like the Little at the time. I'm a big Dick Grayson fan, and therefore when they brought in Jason Todd, he didn't sit well with me. When they attempted to change him after Crisis, it was a little better, but I still wasn't a big fan. That kind of thing. That's the kind of thing we will be discussing. Also, we can sometimes show pop culture things, such as my action figures. I particularly like this set of action figures of invisible characters I have. There are 4 of them. We've got a Lyle Norg, a Susan Storm, a Claude Rains, and a Harvey the Rabbit. Someday I'll get the real ones and we'll show you what they are. But mostly, this is about fun. Everybody collects comics for their own reasons, whether they like covers, whether they like the art, whether they like the writing, whether they like it for investment purposes. Everything is good. Everything is fine. Whatever you do is for you. In my case, I like to enjoy them by reading them, by talking about them, and in this case now, sharing about comics, because I'd like to give to the community, because the YouTube comic book community has given me a lot. And at this point, I would like to take a couple minutes and thank some of the people who have inspired me to come here. I'd like to shout out to Alan the Comic Book Geek. His knowledge and collection are very good. I mean, his collection. Anybody who's seen the Comic Book Collector Geek knows what I'm talking about. I even have his mug right here. I'm a big fan of the channel of Mr. E, the Low Grade King. I like the fact that he goes on and he shows the books he likes, and he makes the same sentiment I do about collect what you like and what you love, and then we go from there. For him, I like his style. I also like Pockets Full of Comics. That is an amazing collection you recently inherited, and I have to say, that is one heck of a display you're starting to build in there. And last out, I want to give a shout out to Karen's pages, because Karen did a fantastic report on the internment camp collection, and I was absolutely impressed by the amount of work and effort she put into that. So I'm going to finish up today with a few more books, just to give you an idea what I like. I am a huge fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This here is the Dark Horse 1998 series, Buffy the Vampire Slayer #3. I have this entire run. Most of it is sitting here because I only acquired it recently and haven't had a chance to read it all yet. This one here is from DC. It's called The Prisoner. It's more of a prestige format type. I haven't read it yet, but I have to admit the cover with the blue and the person looking out in between curiousness and fear, I would say. Curiosity and fear. Sort of makes me think, well, what's she looking at? Or he. It's hard to tell right now. But what is going on that has this person's attention? That is making me want to read the book. And lastly, we have here this Comic Tom copy of Batman 121 reprint, which was the first appearance of Mr. Freeze, who was played by Arnold in the movie. And that is the worst impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger you will ever hear, at least on my channel. This is one of 3,000, and apparently it thanks me for being part of the mystery mail call. It's nice to be thanked. Anyway, I like this cover because it's a nice picture of Mr. Freeze, and the red glasses are a great contrast to the rest of the blueness of the other cover. Okay. And as most of you may know, he was originally called Mr. Zero when he first came out and didn't become Mr. Freeze until the 1990s, I believe. Anyway, this is the beginning of what I hope will be something that I'll be able to get out a little more. We'll expand upon books in the next couple videos. I plan on doing a perspective on the character Nemesis, who was in the ACG Comics Adventures into the Unknown in the 1960s. And I plan on looking at some Predator comics, and we're going to also go over some of the more bigger issues from the DC Comics Presents run, which was the Superman equivalent to the Brave and the Bold for Batman. So, in conclusion, I like comics. I like them a lot, and I hope you do too.